Well, hey y'all, a little bit of a different video today. As you might can tell, I am not in my normal environment as I usually am at home, out walking or sitting in the woods or whatever. But I'm here at work. I work out at town. But I just wanted to drop a quick video real quick and talk to you guys about something that I've dealt with in the past, and I've not dealt with it in a long, long time until I'd say just for about the past week. And that is anxiety. Uh, kind of caught me by surprise. When I was younger and in years past, I dealt with anxiety quite a bit, and it's not been fun. But recently and in recent years, even with all the stuff I've been having going on in my life recently, anxiety's not really been a thing for me. But I noticed about the past week it's kind of hit me again, and it's not fun, y'all. It's not fun. Uh, kind of caught me by surprise, and it made me realize not experiencing it for so long and then going to experiencing anxiety, it made me realize, man, it just feels miserable. And well, what is anxiety? I would classify anxiety as just a type of fear. Fear is all it is. And if you guys out there, if you're struggling with any type of anxiety, uh, I feel for you. I have been there big time in my life, um, and it's not fun. I think what's causing my particular anxiety is an event that I know I have coming up that's kind of stressing me out. But you know, us that deal with anxiety, what can we do about it? Because like man, it sucks, y'all. I mean, it hit me and it sucks. I think the very first thing we can do about it, and I'm not a counselor, I'm not any kind of expert, but I have learned a few things dealing with it during my life, and actually kind of surprised that I've learned as much as I have, and I'm glad to not deal with it as much as I used to. But y'all, the best I know, I just want to let y'all know, I think the very first thing that's important to do is actually admit to ourselves that we are experiencing anxiety. Because I'm just going by personal experience, y'all. In the past, for whatever reason, when I would become anxious, when I start feeling anxious, I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to admit that I was feeling anxious. And I've learned that whether you're feeling anxious or whatever you're feeling in your life, if you don't actually acknowledge that to yourself and you don't actually admit it to yourself, it makes the situation a lot worse for some reason, for whatever reason. So I think the first thing that we can do is admit to ourselves, yes, I am feeling anxious. And another thing is, I was blessed to be in the talk with an older gentleman recently, an older gentleman and a wiser gentleman than I, and he pointed out the fact. This may just sound like wording, but I think it's so important, y'all. He pointed out the fact that it's important to say, I am feeling anxious or I am feeling afraid, in versus saying, I am afraid or I am anxious. And y'all know what I mean by that? I mean, if we say I am, somehow it kind of identifies us as being that. If you say I am anxious, that probably ain't good, y'all. But to say that you're feeling a certain way, if you say, in other words, think about it. If you say, I'm feeling fearful, as opposed to I am fearful, well, that's a big difference to me, y'all. And I think it helps to realize that you're just feeling this way. This is not who you are, for one. So acknowledge your feelings and acknowledge them as feelings. And this will pass too, y'all. I mean, so what else can we do about it? I mean, I don't know about my viewers, if you do believe in God, and you believe that God cares about you and cares about what's going on in your life, well, then you can pray. You know, I pray when I'm anxious, when I'm feeling afraid, and that helps. It really does. So you can pray about it if you do pray, and you can do things like remember to breathe. Just breathe and try to calm down. That's not very good advice. Just try to calm down. But sometimes it's just we just have to realize that life throws us all kinds of different ups and downs, and we are human beings with real valid feelings, and I'm glad we are. I'm glad that we do have real feelings. Sometimes those feelings aren't very pleasant to deal with. And you know, if you're dealing with anxiety on a big level, you know, you may have to do different things to help offset that. But you know, if you're just feeling anxious a little bit, and may just have to ride it out, guys. You know, just ride it out and just know that the tides will change. And I've also learned that a lot of things that I've ended up worrying about after they've come and gone, I've asked myself, well, why in the world was I worrying about that in the first place? Because, you know, the feared outcome, it was a lot bigger in my head, and it was a lot scarier in my head than it actually turned out to be. And I just wasted all that worry on something that didn't amount to anything, and everything was okay. But, you know, if life's not going the best for you right now, just hang on. It'll change. It will change. Life's full up and downs. All right, well, that's all I got today, guys. I'm going to jump off here. We'll see you next time.